This conference will now be recorded.
Okay guys, let's get started. So today what we are gonna do is we will have to make SCCM server as the administrator of database server. That is the first point which we have to do. Second point is we need to create a system management container. Why do we need a container in Active Directory? I'll let you know. Okay, we need a container and on that container we can SCCM server will have read and write permission. Okay, I'll let you know why do we need to create a container. Then point number 4 is extend AD schema. Okay, so we need to extend the schema of Active Directory. Okay, because currently the schema of Active Directory does not contain any SCCM related class and tables, class and attributes. That's the reason that we have to extend the schema of Active Directory. Then we have to reserve the SQL memory uh, in the SQL database so that it should not give any warning message during installation of SCCM server. And we'll have to take the snapshot before we start the installation of SCCM. And finally, we will do the installation of SCCM. So these are the things which we have to do. And today our SCCM server will be ready. Okay. So now I am gonna take you guys step by step. Okay, what we have to do. So I'm gonna make presenter, Praveen. Okay, now first thing, what you have to do is basically you need to make SCCM server as the administrator of database server. So let's go to database, and on the database, right click on full screen, right click on database server, database name, yeah, and click on full screen. Yeah, very good. Now scroll down at the right hand side, you have the scroller. Scroll down at the right hand side. No, not that one, the extreme one. Yeah, very good. Right click on start and click on computer management. Right click on start and click on computer management. Right click, not left click. It's going to be the right click. Click on desktop. Below you have the desktop. Yeah. Now right click on start. Click on computer management. So on this database server, we want SCCM server to be the administrator of this computer, because SCCM server will have to remotely push some services, some installation, some files. So that's the reason it needs local admin rights. So you have to expand local user and groups.
Kasif, this is SQL admin a database server.
This is database server.
Okay.
You need to go to groups, right, double click on administrators. Now you see these are the two things which are the administrator of this computer at the moment. You need to add the third one. Click on add and choose object types and choose computers and click OK. And type in the computer name there, SCCM PS, because the server name of SCCM is SCCM PS. And check names. Click on OK. So this guy will be the administrator of the one which we just added, lab/SCCMPS, will have admin rights on this computer. Click on apply and OK. Okay, just give me control. I need to just make a note of the things what we have to do today. So the first thing is SCCMPS needs admin rights on database server, and this is done, right? We have completed that task. Now the second point is we need to create a system. We need to create a container in Active Directory as system management. Why do we need to create a container in Active Directory? Now, let me just quickly share my screen and let you know the reason why we have to create container in Active Directory. Okay, so I think you guys can see my screen now. So we have to create a container in Active Directory. Let's say this one is Active Directory. Active Directory is there on the database server, right? So there are multiple containers already, but we have to create one container, and that container the name of the container will be system management. Now inside this container, we have to SCCM server will have full permission on this container. SCCM PS will have, full control on this container. Basically, SCCM server will be dumping information inside this container. So SCCM server will be typing information. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. It will be SCCM server who will be dumping the information itself. So whatever the information you have in SCCM, let's say management point, server name, distribution point, server name, site code, boundaries, boundary groups, everything, whatever the SCCM has, those information will be dumped into this system management container. Now the benefit of this, suppose you have 10,000 computers, right? Or whatever it is, let's say 100 computer or 1,000 computer or 10,000 computers. This system management container will act like a notice board. This container will have all SCCM information, right? This has all SCCM information. So this container can get this information from this container. All these computers can get this information, like the server name, the distribution name, the site name, site code, all those things. These computers can get it from there. So just like, when you go to your when you go to exam center, right? In exam center, you go to the notice board, and in notice board you will find out your seat number and your roll number, right? And accordingly you will need to go to that particular room to take your exam. So it is basically acting like a notice board, and that contains your SCCM related information. Clear, guys? This is the reason we need to create a system management container in Active Directory. I hope you guys understood, right? Jay, Praveen.
Yes.
So that is what we have to do. So let me make you presenter. So Praveen, and then we will need to do this. Okay, so we need to create system management container in Active Directory. We need to create a container in AD as system management. So let's go to domain controller. Praveen, let's go to domain controller, please. You need to click on this option. You need to use this option, the middle one. Yeah. Now go to domain. Okay, now click on tools and click on ADSI edit. Now to create container in Active Directory, you cannot create from Active Directory. You will have to create from the ADSI edit. This is the tool which helps you to create container in Active Directory. Now right click on ADSI edit. No, at the left hand side. Left hand side. At the left hand side, yeah. And click on connect to. We need to connect to the LDAP service and click on OK. So now it is connected. We have to expand this default naming context. At the left hand side, click on default naming context. Left one, left, left, left. Expand DC equals lab equals. Yeah. Now right click on CN equal. You see the container. These are containers built in. CN means container. OU means organization unit. So we have to create a container inside system container. So right click on this CN equals system. Below you have CN equals system. Right click on that particular container and choose new and choose object and choose container and go next. Type in the name as system management. S capital YSTEM. No, only the first letter will be capital. Space M capital management. Okay, you have to make sure the name is correct, otherwise it's not gonna function. Okay, system management. Next, finish. Now the container is created. Now we have to make SCCM server as the administrator of this container, because SCCM server, yeah, scroll down, you will see the container. SCCM server will be publishing details inside that container. So it needs read and write permission. So close this. We don't need ADSI edit anymore. Now click on tools again and Active Directory user and computers. So this is the front end of Active Directory. Whatever the changes you do in ADSI edit, those changes will be applied here. Now click on view and choose advanced feature and expand this lab.com. You will see system, and expand system, you will see system management container. Expand system. You see system management container, because we just created a container there, and that's the reason it is showing the container in this Active Directory. Did you find that system management? All right. So system management is the container which is now SCCM server. need read and write permission on this container so that they can dump information here. Right click on system management and choose delegate control. Next, and who will need permission, you need to click on add and go to object types and choose computer. Click OK. Type in the name of the server which needs read and write permission on this container. So SCCM PS. So this guy needs read and write permission. Click OK. And next. Now choose create a custom task to delegate outside the box below. Next. Okay, so go next and choose full control. So SCCM server needs full control on this container so that it can read and write the data. Finish. Okay, so we just completed point number 2 and point number 3. We created a container and we have granted full control on that container. Point number 3, we need to extend. Wait, I need to type in. Not sure. You also need the mouse, Praveen? Now we need to extend the Active Directory schema. Now what is schema? Basically, let me just share my screen so that you will be able to understand what is schema. Praveen, are you able to see my screen? Jay? Praveen? Sorry, are you able to see my screen or not? Praveen?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is a schema of Active Directory? Basically, schema is like this is your Active Directory AD schema. Now, this one is the schema of Active Directory. Basically, schema is like a database table. Inside table, you have class and attribute. Okay, class and attribute. Class and attribute. So, what is class? You have class and attribute. Now, for example, I'm going to give you an example. User is a class, right? Now, the attribute of user will be name, username, first name, right? Last name, right? Give me 1 minute. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, guys. So first name, last name. Okay. Then you have uh, sorry. Give me 1 minute. Okay, guys. Sorry. So first name, last name. Then you will have like manager name, right? Title, office. Similarly, you have system as a class, right? And then system name, operating system name, when was it is installed, the last install date and time and all. So this schema does not contain any SCCM related class and attributes. So we will have to extend the schema of Active Directory and add SCCM related SCCM class and attribute. Clear, everyone?
Clear.
Understood or not? So that the moment we add this schema, add the new class and attribute, we will now be able to save SCCM related stuff, SCCM related information in Active Directory. That is the main reason. Okay. So to extend the schema of Active Directory, I'm going to give you one link. Give me 1 minute. I think I'll have to change this to, I don't need tablet mode. Okay. So we have to download one installer which will help us to extend the schema of Active Directory. Okay, I'm gonna make you presenter, Praveen, and I'm gonna send you the installer on the chat window. I just sent that to you. Just click on that, the link which I have given that to you. Okay, so this is the link which we have to okay, let me take the control. Now this is the link where I have uploaded my uploaded on my Google Drive. So this is the installer which helps you to extend the schema of Active Directory. I'm going to copy that and go to domain controller, because we have to run this on the domain controller. So on the domain controller, we need to right click and click on run and enter the link. We have to download the schema from this Google Drive. This is basically uploaded on my Google Drive and we need to download it from there. You need to click on this and no thanks and download. Now you see this is the thing which we just downloaded from the Google Drive, EXT If you click on view and file name extension, you see this is EXT This is an executable which helps you to extend the schema of Active Directory. So to do that, what do we need to do? We will go to this ext and then right click and choose run as administrator. The moment we run, you see there is a log file which got created in C drive, ext If you double click, and that will tell you what all attributes and classes it has added in Active Directory. As you see, it is saying these are the attributes which are added in Active Directory, and below are the classes. These are the classes which got added, and it is saying successfully extended schema of Active Directory. So we have just modified the Active Directory schema by running that particular file. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now let me go back to my notes, and sorry, this is your computer. So extend reserve memory. Now we have to reserve the memory of SQL database. Now Microsoft recommends that you reserve memory of the database server. So you need to go to the database server. This is our database server, and inside this database server we need to click on start and then downward arrow and choose SQL Management Studio. This is the one, SQL Management Studio, which helps you to reserve the memory. And just connect. Now Microsoft recommends that you reserve memory. You right click on this database and go to properties, and you go to memory option, minimum memory. So let's say 8192. That is the minimum memory, like 8 gigabyte. 8192 MB is 8 gigabyte. So you are reserving minimum 8 gigabyte on this computer. Out of this, whatever the RAM present on this computer, let's say this computer has 32 gigabyte of RAM or 64 gigabyte of RAM. So you are reserving 8 gigabyte of minimum 8 gigabyte of RAM for database. Okay, so 8 gigabyte. Now 1024, this is 1024 megabyte multiplied by 16. So this is 16 gigabyte, guys. 16384 megabyte is 16 gigabyte. So let's say out of 32 GB, 8 gigabyte the minimum, and maximum 16 gigabyte. Okay, 16384. So it will utilize between these memory allocations, not more than this and not less than this. Clear, everyone? Jay? So we need to click on OK. So now we have completed point number what? Let me just say done. Schema is done. We have extended the schema. Point number 5 is reserve. Okay, so that is also done. We have reserved the memory in the database, minimum 8 GB and maximum 16 GB. Now point number 6, we need to download SCCM installer. So let's download SCCM installer. I'm going to give you the link and Google Drive. (1606). So I just copied the link and I'm going to give that to you on the chat window. So Jay, you have already downloaded. I don't think you need it again. You don't need to download again. You just have to copy that installer and paste it on SCCM server from your local computer into virtual machine. Now Praveen, I just sent you the link. You just have to click on that link. Okay, so this is the link, which is the SCCM installer. I have kept it on my Google Drive. I'm going to copy this, and we don't need to download it on the local computer. Okay, we will have to download it on SCCM server. So I'm going to right click on SCCM and full screen. We don't need server manager. Let's close this. Now on this SCCM server, this is SCCM server, guys. We need to right click and go run and enter the link and click enter. I mean, hit enter, and now it is gonna take you to that website, and you have to click on, let's say, use recommended setting and click OK and choose download. The moment you click on download and download anyway, it will start downloading. I need to save it somewhere. Let me just click on save. It will be downloading in the download folder. So Jay, you will have to just make sure the file is present on SCCM server. You have to copy from your local computer into SCCM virtual machine. Very good. So this download is completed. Let me just say done. Now point number 7, extract all the files out of the installer. Now the file which we have downloaded, that is actually a zipped file, right? So we have to go to the location where it is downloaded. Let me just close this website. Now the location where it is downloaded is basically, it got downloaded in download folder, and here is the file, SCCM, and this is 1606. If you click on view and file name extension, this is .exe, but this is actually a zipped file, right? It is not a installer. It contains all the installer inside this. We have to extract all the files out of it. So let me just create a folder here and say SCCM 1606 installer. Okay, now inside this 1606 installer, I'm gonna extract all the files. So this is the one which we just downloaded, SCCM. Right click on this and choose run as administrator and click yes. Now browse the location of this folder, the newly created folder. We need to click on browse, and we have to go to library and document. No, not document. I have to go to download, right? So this PC download, and this is the folder, right? This is the folder which we have created. I want all the files to be extracted inside this folder, and so click OK and unzip. So this folder will have all files. You see, it is extracting all the files one by one. Clear, everyone? Okay, so it extracted all the files. 3,184 files are extracted. I'm going to click on OK and close this. Now, as you see in this download folder, inside this SCCM 1606 installer folder, all these files are extracted. You remember we have downloaded the ext adsch, the extend, the file which helps us to extend the schema. If you don't have that file, you can also get it from here. You can go to SMS setup and bin, and inside bin x64, and you have the same file present here, ext.adsch, which you downloaded on the domain controller. Clear, everyone? All good, Jay?
Yes.
Now, so the download is completed, and we have extracted the files, all the files out of the installer. Let me just say done. Point number 8 is we will start now we need to check the prerequisite, okay, that whether we have completed all the prerequisites or not. So SCCM installer will help us to check that prerequisite. Okay, so what do? We will start the installation of, we'll go to download folder. This is the folder which we have created. Double click on that and choose this splash HTA. This is SCCM 1606, which was released by Microsoft in the year 2016 June. This is SCCM 2016, guys. I need to click on install and choose yes, and I need to go next. Now the first option, install a config manager primary site. But before you move further, you need to go to right click and go to command prompt and type in host name, just to verify the name of the computer. You see, this is SCCM PS, so that is correct. In case if you are logged into some other computer, make sure you do it on SCCM PS computer. Okay, we have to make SCCM server, this server, as the primary site. Second thing you have to do, who am I, to verify you are logged in with the right account, lab/SCCM admin. Okay, in case if you are logged in with a different account, you need to log out and log in back with the right account. So these are the things which you have to verify before you start this. Okay, so we just verified. I'm going to close that. Now the first option, install a config manager primary site. You have one more option to install a central administration site, right? You have another option to upgrade, recover, maintenance, and uninstall. These are the options available. I need to choose the first option, which says install a config manager primary site, the first one which is already selected. And then next. Now, this one does not have any license. We don't have any license, right? So I'm gonna go with install the evaluation edition without any product key. So it will be available for us for 180 days. We can use this for 6 months, and later on that will come in, that will go into read-only mode. Okay, so next, accept the license terms and condition, and next. Now it needs you to download the latest language pack from internet. You know, the SCCM server needs the latest languages from Microsoft website. So let me create a folder on the desktop, and let's say SCCM updates. So it's going to download the updates from internet on inside this folder. Okay, and you have to give the path of this folder inside this. So I'm going to click on browse and choose SCCM updates and click OK, and next. It is going to download everything inside this folder, you know, SCCM update. So you see it is downloading all server language like Chinese, uh, Spanish, French, Hungarian, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Netherlands, PLK. I don't know what PLK is. PTB, Portuguese or something. PTG, Portuguese, Russian. It's downloading all the languages in which SCCM can be accessed. These are the languages which are present on the Microsoft website. It's downloading from internet. So server language is done. Now it is downloading the client languages. So all the languages are downloaded. Now it is saying choose the language, server language, right? I'm gonna go with English. Next, client language, I'm gonna go with English, which is already selected. Next. Now site code, you have to make a this is an important point, guys. Site code is basically every site, whether it is primary, secondary or central, has a site code, anything of your choice. For example, SEA, 3 character, only 3 character. Okay, either digit PS1 like PS1 or PS2, primary site 1 or primary site 2, depends on you what would you like to name it. I'm gonna go with SEA because it is present in Southeast Asia data center, and the name of the site is, let's say, South East Asia primary site. Okay, and it's going to be installed on this location, C drive program files. That's okay. And you need the console, the tool to access SCCM. So we need a tool as well. So that's the reason it is checked. So I'm going to leave that checkbox as it is, and I'll go next. Now currently we don't have anything existing. I need to install the standalone primary site. I'm going to choose that as standalone, and next. It's asking, do you want to continue without a central administration site? Yes. Okay, now it's asking for the database server name. You need to enter the database server name here. So delete it and type in database.lab.com. So you have to make sure you type in the name correctly, otherwise it's not gonna go further. Okay, you have to type in the name of the database. Instance name can be left as blank because we are going with the default instance ID, and this is the database name. You may change it if you want, but it is coming because of your selection. CM means config manager underscore Southeast Asia. This is the site code which we have selected. So based on our selection, this is coming. Okay, and 4022 is the port required on the database server, which we have already done in the group policy. We don't have to do it again. So that is already there. So these are things which we have to do, and then next. And this is the location where SQL Server data file and SQL Server log file will be saved. Next. Now we need to install few roles on this computer. You remember we had discussed about a few roles like management point, distribution point. Um, so below roles will be installed on SCCM ps.lab.com. So on this computer, we will install the first role as SMS provider. The second role we will install is management point. Okay, that role. The third point we will install is distribution point, and fourth role we will install is service connection point. These are the four roles which we have to install on this server. Now let's do the first one. As you see, the first one, SMS provider on this server. In case if you want to install it on a different server, you have to change the name of the server, from SCCM PS to different computer. But we have to install it on SCCM server, so we'll leave that as it is. Next. Now the configuration is basically required. Either the server and client will talk to each other using HTTP connection or HTTPS connection. The server and the client will be talking to each other using HTTPS or HTTP. If you go with HTTPS, then you have to choose the first option. But if you choose first option, then you need to have a certificate, server side certificate and client side certificate. And if the certificates are matching between the server and the client, then only the server will establish a connection with the client. It will talk to the client computers. Otherwise, the server will not talk to the client computers. So you need to define whether it is going to be HTTP or HTTPS. HTTPS is basically when you have computers which are coming from internet, from outside the world. I mean, from outside the intranet world. Okay, so if it is coming from a different location, then we go with the secured method HTTPS, so that it is having little security. But all our computers are internally connected, all on the LAN network. So I'm gonna choose that. The second option we will configure later on. Okay, the second option, and then next. Now, as we discussed here in this notepad, we have already selected SMS provider. Now management point and distribution point on the same server, on this sccm.ps.lab.com. So if you do not want management point and distribution point to get installed on this server, you can uncheck these boxes. Or if you want to install it on different computer, you can change the name here. Since we want to install it on this box, that's the reason we have to keep it selected. Next. Now it is asking for service connection point. Service connection point is basically going to help you connect to the Microsoft website, and you will be able to download the SCCM related updates from Microsoft update server. So we'll leave that as it is, and next. So it is now checking the prerequisite. So that's what I have mentioned here, to check the prerequisite, point number 8. So it is checking, and it will let us know whether everything is done properly or you missed something. Okay, so that is done. Point number 9 is So now we have to take the snapshot. If the prerequisite is passed successfully, then we will take the snapshot. Snapshot is basically to capture the current state of the computer, so that you don't have whatever the things which we have done so far. We don't want to lose those things. In case something goes wrong, we can go back to that stage when we have done all the prerequisites, right? So before the installation of SCCM primary side, we need to take the snapshot. Let's go back to this. You see, all prerequisites rule passed successfully. We don't have any error message, no warning, nothing. So we have done everything perfectly. Now, before we hit begin install, you have begin install option, but I'm not going to do that until I take the snapshot. So I'm going to go to Azure portal, and I'll go to disk, and to take the snapshot of the computer. So one by one, I'm going to click on database, create snapshot. So a snapshot means to capture the current state of the computer. Okay, you type in DB, this is DB, and after doing all prerequisite, just the name, guys. So we have done all the prerequisites, and after doing all the prerequisite, I'm going to take the snapshot, just the name. And let me just copy this so that I can utilize the same thing. So after doing all the prerequisite, I'm going to click on create. So this is getting done. Now, second thing, similarly, I need to go back to disk again and go to domain and choose create snapshot, and it's gonna be DC domain. After doing all the prerequisite, whatever the prerequisite we have done, I'm gonna click on create. Okay, so let me go back to disk again and take the snapshot of SCCM server. So I'm gonna click on SCCM PS and choose create snapshot and type in SCCM PS after doing all the prerequisite and create. So the snapshot is taken. Snapshot is basically for to take the current state of the computer, whatever the current state is present, it is gonna take the snapshot. If I go back to this snapshot section, I should be able to see the snapshot DB, which is database source, DC, which is domain source, and SCCM, which is SCCM PS source. So these are the disk which we have taken as a backup in case if we have to, during installation, if something goes wrong and we had to do some steps again, so we can go back to this stage anytime. Now, once we have taken the snapshot, that is also done. Jay, you need to right click on each computer and take snapshot, okay? You have a different process in VMware to take the snapshot. Good. Now, point number 10 is start installation of SCCM primary site. We have to start the installation of SCCM primary site. Let's go back to the SCCM server and click on hit on begin install. That's it. So it is gonna take at least like 1.5 hours from now and your server will be ready. Clear? Understood or not? Jay and Praveen.
Yes, sir.
All good?
Yes.
Okay, so this is gonna take like 1.5 hours. So do not shut down, Praveen. Do not stop any of the computers. Let's leave it as it is
Okay.
for now. Client you can stop, that's fine, but do not stop. Apart from client, I'm gonna stop the client now because we don't need client at the moment. Uh, but apart from client, do not stop database, domain, and SCCM PS because this is needed for SCCM installation. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. So let me just give you a quick summary what we have done today. So point number one, as you see my screen, guys.
Yes. Yes.
Point number one is SCCM needed full administrator on database server. That is done. System container, system management container, grant the permission on that container. Active Directory schema. Then we had reserved the memory in the database, and we had taken the snapshot of all the computers, and then we installed a primary site server. These are things which we did today. Okay, so we'll meet again same time tomorrow, guys. Clear?
So it will take 1.5 hours, sir. After that, I need
Yeah,
I can close, right?
leave it as it is. Leave it as it. After 1.5 hours, check if the installation is completed, then stop all the servers. Do not stop any of the server at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Okay,
domain,
sir.
SCCM, and PS, they all need to be running until this is installed. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. Fine.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, sir.
We'll meet again same time tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye, sir.